This is it. Elon Musk is now locked and loaded, and as he says, it's time to pull a lot of rabbits out of the hat. We've learned a lot more now of Tesla's strategy on how they'll completely take over the automotive and autonomy world. First, last week, for the first time ever, Tesla showed off exactly how the Cybercab will be built using the new unboxed model. Just 4 sections. Yes, 4 sections connected together like Legos. Production starts in April, and the plan is one Cybercab every 10 seconds. Second, in a hint of what's to come, Tesla has launched a new car rental program in the US. For just $60 per day, you can rent a Tesla for up to 7 days. This includes FSD. Might this be the start of Tesla moving to an all-in monthly subscription model? Third, Tesla's reduced pricing for Model 3s and Ys in the US with new lease incentives. Meanwhile, in China, some are saying the Xiaomi YU7 is a real Model Y killer. Just October data though, and this isn't quite true. Fourth, in a scary new video, full self-driving just saved a Tesla owner driving back from last week's event. The car swerved out of the way from a near head-on collision over 75 miles per hour. Tesla said FSD has already saved 35,000 lives. Finally, Tesla Japan is hiring for autopilot vehicle operators, hinting FSD is about to be approved there, and might the Cybertruck be used as robo-taxis? Big hints here. We've got Jeff Lutz here with us today, ex-CVP of Supply Chain and Chief Quality Officer, now CEO of his own supply chain consulting firm. Welcome, Jeff.
Hey, Herbert. Yeah, what a week, both in the news, the shareholders meeting, the news created there, just so much to go through.
Yeah, I was actually pretty surprised at how many new information pieces that we received while we were there, lots. And I think what I did today was specifically for your expertise in manufacturing, factories, and so forth. Let's talk about those kind of things that happen. This is a post that Elon made, is it this morning or was it late last night? And he said, time to pull a lot of rabbits out of the hat. Now that he's got his, the shareholder meeting is done, he's got his performance award, he's now on the hook to make those milestones achieved. And it looks like Tesla is really just going head on. So this is what they showed off at the factory tour at the shareholder meeting. And Rebellionaire Bradford Ferguson posted this, showing how the Cybercab is going to be unboxed. So the first time now we know that there's 4 segments, 4 sections. You got number 1, you got the hood, the windshield, and the front tire. Then you have the 2 and 4, which is the sides from the door to the back. You see that, the purple. And then you've got the rear trunk, the top and the rear tires. So that's how that's going to come together. And they're bolted, glued, and locked in. So they're just like connected together. You create one section first, and then you just put them all together. And I think, we all knew that this was going to be what it is, but I think most of us were surprised at how simple it really does look like. What's your thoughts on that, Jeff?
Well, Tesla's making it look simple. This is what modular assembly is. And modular assembly lives in other domains and product lines too. I've implemented it before in smartphone, for example, and it really provides a set of advantages. There's advantages and disadvantages to any manufacturing model. You've really got to look at the product you're building in your goals. And what Tesla is doing here is they've figured out a way to re-engineer the vehicle, the part count, the types of materials and substrates and finishes that are used on the vehicle. And all of these things were re-engineered to get to a very low total process time at final assembly. So when seeing that we didn't really see the real, it's not the real operation. You kind of saw the end. And I don't want Tesla actually to show the real operation. The real operation is going to be these spinning these cellular areas in the factory where these door assemblies, where these front assemblies and rear assemblies are coming together, and they're all clocking in at a particular rate, and they have all their quality levels in terms of dimensional stability as well as color and optics performance. Because you remember, you've got multiple exterior surfaces coming together in a final assembly area, whereas in a traditional car assembly line, the body in white, everything comes down as one piece, and then the thing goes through the paint shop before a significant more assembly goes into it. So Unboxed gets rid of the paint shop, gets rid of all that capex, gets rid of all that loss and yield, and as well as all the safety issues, everything involved with doing a paint shop. And this is really revolutionizing how a car is made. Now, I liked how it was called out there, the bolted in and the locked in and the gluing, because quite frankly, there's consumables in manufacturing of every vehicle. But what you're looking for is you're looking for redundancy, and you're looking for a design and fit for purpose. And if you can have mechanical interlocking structures, and if you could be aided by adhesives as well as everything being bolted in, the people think like Cybercab's not a plastic car. This thing is going to be a very strong vehicle with a very strong underlying substrate that surrounds the vehicle, and of course the chassis itself. It's the cosmetic surfaces and how they achieve those cosmetic surfaces that are changing. So, long story short, this is when this gets to rated speed, it's going to take several months up to a year. But when it gets there, I think it's going to be it's going to be the best auto operation that we may have ever seen, and it's going to be able to be replicated and exported globally to other Tesla facilities. It will get copied, but that's fine. Tesla is leading and separating themselves on autonomy, and this is a way to get more autonomous vehicles out to the market faster at a lower price point.
Yeah, thank you for explaining all that. It's just crazy, right? Because they announced it, I don't know when, 2 years ago, something like that, and we're going to reinvent the way a car is made. Here's how it is, maybe even longer, 3 years ago. But here we are. We actually have it's in production now, and they're saying that the production will start in April, and they still said sub 10-second cycle time. So this is a whole new reinvention of how this is going to be made. And then you kind of explained just everything to think about. But you've also been warning everybody, right? This is a brand new production that never been done before. It's a brand new vehicle. It's a brand new parts. All the parts are all new. So who knows if it will start in April, but they seem to be confident enough they actually did say it's going to start.
Well, I mean, they have a pilot line, so I'm confident they have a pilot operation. So a pilot operation is the transition from prototyping into mass production. You could scale up a pilot line, or you can scale it back down and push it back into the new product process. But they could scale that up, or they can easily replicate it. But my guess is they're going to scale the pilot line, make it longer, and use that in production, and then duplicate that process. So when Elon goes from saying it's going to start in this year, and then he says first half of the year, second half of the year, and then he says Q2 on the earnings call, and then in the shareholders meeting he narrows it down and says April. They've got a fairly good lock. Now
they do.
From my experience, it'll start, but the real question, and there's a top 5 or top 10 list of every single new product ramp in the world in history. The question is going to be, at what speed and what output. And if they really solve these issues, and they've really done a number on these issues in terms of solving them early, it could be a fairly explosive ramp. But my guess is it's going to take a bit of time for this to come up to speed. But when it does, it's going to be faster than anything we've seen before.
So they released this video as well. And you say pilot production line? I don't know, man. I'm going to turn off the music. This does not look like a pilot production line. Look at it. Looks like, gosh. Because it is almost, isn't it? Is it almost 100% autonomous?
Well, yeah, like I said, you can convert a pilot. A pilot line is supposed to be a production line running at slower speed. So I'm not saying it's a prototype process. It's not. The pilot transitions you into production.
I see. It's not prototype. So it's pilot. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. A pilot is a representation of a production line. It's just at its lowest speed it'll ever be at.
Okay, well, here we go. So Cybercab looks, they actually showed it off in the factory. Now they did not show you the pilot production line, but they showed you pieces of it like this, and that's what we learned now. We knew what it's looking like, but boy, they mean it. Just four sections, and then boom, connected together.
Well, if I put my black hat on for a bit, I would have to think that dimensional stability is something they're being challenged with, which is you have these modular areas, four different modular areas coming together,
Yeah,
and the question is how much slop and tolerances have they give themselves to make different parts? How are they doing that? The second thing would be color stability of the reaction injection molded process. Now you have these
it's
panels
all brand
coming
new.
together. Do they color match? And
Yeah.
then keeping the black hat on, if we get into the service environment and there's a dent, there's a ding, or there's a need for a replacement, how's that color matching going to work? So these are solvable problems. This isn't like
Mm-hmm.
you have to defy the laws of physics to solve a problem. It's more of you have to engineer and process engineer the solution to solve it. So I believe Tesla will solve it. It's just a matter of when. And it's good to think about like how things could break and how things could fail. And if you do that early and often enough, you tend to prevent them from ever entering the process.
Okay. So Tesla has reinvented how a car is made. Cybercab going to be mass production, very low cost. They're still saying the $20,000 number. Didn't they say that? Yeah, so $20,000. Or sorry, that's the Optimus.
Yeah. Not
Okay, sorry.
Cybercab,
Got- I
I
don't.
think they're going to be realistic and they can price it. This is the thing. They can price it at launch wherever they want. No, Tesla has a lot of levers to pull at launch between their software and their services and everything. They have supercharging. They have all these different things that are very high gross margin areas. Remember, you just look at the launch edition new Model Y and what you get when you buy these vehicles. So, but it's definitely going to start at its highest COGS ever. So in April, when this starts, it will be the highest COGS the Cybercab will ever be at. So the
Yep.
only question will be is how many will Tesla allow out and at what price? And they could decide to set the price at zero margin if they want. They don't typically do that, but they could, or you know, uh, or they could set it at their target gross margin. It just starts a little bit higher and says, hey, look, if you want to be in the early series of this, if you want to be an early owner, this is the ticket to ride, and it costs this much. And when you have scarcity of supply, you will have buyers line up.
Yeah. Okay. I do not think that they're going to sell Cybercab to customers. Certainly not this year. Maybe not even next year. I don't know. Maybe never. I can't understand why that
Yeah,
is. They'll sell it to fleet managers, maybe. Okay. But in the next segment, I
yeah,
want to talk about.
fair.
You and I have talked about this so much here, that there we are seeing so many signs, little nuggets here, hints, and everything that they are going to move to a whole new business model where they're going to sell, instead of selling cars with a one-time price, it's going to be this all-in bundled monthly price. That's where they're going at. Here's another potential hint why that is not just for cybercabs, but for all cars eventually. This is the latest, these are tiny hints, might mean nothing, but this is a new car rental program that Tesla's released at select US stores. Starts off at San Diego. You can now rent a Tesla for 7 days, starting at $60 a day. But that includes FSD, supervised still, free supercharging for an entire rental. If you order a new Tesla within 7 days of your rental, you'll get $250 off. But it's like, like they're getting into the car rental program. It's like when we went to, if we had this was available in Austin, instead of us using Turo, instead of us using renting a car from these traditional guys, $60 a day, you got a Tesla, you got FSD, it's all part of it. I think it's, for me, it's like, it's Tesla testing how to do this, how to actually charge a monthly, in this case, a daily fee, and then actually like, it's like almost like a rental kind of thing. Drive it like it's yours for up to a week is what it says. Yeah, I mean, sure, it's a little program, it's nothing big, but where do you
No,
think
this
this might
is
go?
uh, Tesla does things for a reason, and we've seen this before. it could start with these vehicles and them trying to flush out the here's what I think is happening at a high level. A new sales channel is being created. We've talked about this new sales channel before. We've talked about Tesla's got to build the order model. In supply chain, what Tesla started their company with is a build to order model, which is you put your order in for a car, they build it, and they send it to you point to point. Then, as Tesla started going up the ramp curve and they needed to basically feed their supply base and get more consistent builds going and not chop it up, when they became, EVs started becoming mainstream, they had now built the inventory. So there's a percentage of their manufacturing was just like we're building this many white Model 3s, we're building this many, black model, and they just put them in the inventory all over the country, all over Europe, all over the world. So build the order, build the inventory. I believe this is going to be the next sales channel for Tesla, which is a taxi, a taxi leasing, rental, fleet model, whatever. It's going to be this other channel that Tesla has created, which is they're going to build these cars, they're going to assess the demand, the rental demand, because what's happening with consumers right now? Right now with consumers, what are they struggling with? They're struggling with the monthly payment. And now if you've got the economics under this much control, which they have it down to the detail on the S3XY, when you have that level of control, and then now you have these offerings on the side that are 70-80% gross margin, charging business, insurance business, autonomy, you have all these things that you can bolt on. What happens when Tesla enters the car rental arena? What does Tesla have? Tesla has a service center set up all over the country and all over the world. They have service centers. What does Tesla have? They have supercharging. Where else can you go rent a car where they say the gas is free? Okay, we can insure you potentially if they start offering that, and so you have energy, you have insurance, and then the thing's going to drive itself for you. What other rental? So all of a sudden now, if they enter the car rental business, they enter in with such a lead, such a fundamental, better product offering. It's going to be difficult for others. Now there's going to be this barrier to entry, and do I want to rent an EV, and what happens, and how do I charge? That's fine. I think they're putting this out there. I think they're creating the infrastructure. I think they're creating call it the back end, back office, all the network infrastructure, the app, everything. I think they're creating all this because when Cybercab does come out, you're going to have a model like that. You're going to have a fleet model. You're going to have this. So now Tesla's to rewind back, build a order. Yep. Build inventory. Yep. And now it's going to be this next channel, which is fleets, rentals, you name it. And Tesla can just say, boom, if I have an issue in my build to order, if I have an issue in my build to inventory, I can look here and I can move product over here. Now, the bears are going to say, oh, Tesla can't sell cars, so now they just created a rental business. But who else has the economics to create something like this and to create this new sales channel? So I firmly believe this is being created for their future business model. And the highest order bit is going from a $500, a $700, a $1,000 car payment to, X number of dollars per day when you actually need the vehicle. And eventually that will go per mile.
Yeah, exactly. Now, $60 a day is very high, right? That's not something that's going to replace anything soon. This is still a rental, but it's apparently unlimited miles. But it's they're getting into the rental business and they're testing it. Like I say, it's the back office. Really understand how to charge people daily, monthly, how to bundle everything in, all that, pick up, drop off. So saw cars again. Here's what's going on. Tesla, it looks like that they are actually, they launched a new Model Y long range, rear wheel drive in China. It has more range than any previous Model Ys offered in the country. So this is 821 kilometers, equivalent to 357 miles, same as US version. Price is $40,000. Delivery start in 2 weeks. You can tell me, but I'm guessing it's because it's China, right? So you're competing with all sorts of other cars. They need to have something that has longer range. They also, in the US, introduced new incentives for Model 3 and Model Y, including 23% lower lease pricing. This is something you and I have been talking about, where leasing is a way that Tesla could actually offer a monthly, very attractive monthly pricing. Here it is, 1.99% APR for 72-month financing terms if you want to finance it, 2% APR. One free exterior or interior upgrade when you lease, up to 9.5% lower starting lease pricing. So the lease pricing for the Model Ys is up to 9.5% lower, and for the Model 3s, it's up to 23% lower. Meantime, in China, there's Xiaomi YU7, and this person's saying that it's officially become the real Model Y's killer in October. Just 1 month data. At the top here is the YU7, the Xiaomi, and way down here in Model Y, number 8, this is the monthly sales. But Jeff, isn't the first month of every quarter almost always export? And is this what this is, or is there something more to this?
Well, I mean, I think it can be a little bit of both. We know where Tesla Model Y landed in the prior quarter. We know it's a very popular product. We know that they've added to it with the long version of the vehicle. Now they're adding these other battery variants to compete. We know China is very competitive, so we're gonna just have to sit and watch this. The Xiaomi vehicle is a good car. We don't have all of the, since it's been on back order, it's got this high initial demand. So we don't have thousands and thousands and thousands of people with months and months of feedback yet to know if they like it and if they would buy another one. We don't have that kind of that net promoter data. We don't necessarily have that yet, but we know that their first vehicle, which is the Model 3 competitor, did well as well. So I've always said that Xiaomi is real competition. This is not BYD. This is not some of the other ones. This is a real product company. Xiaomi did this in smartphone as well, and they've taken tremendous market share. They have a visionary CEO. They know how to execute. And the other thing that they do in China, probably better than anybody else, is automation in the factory. And they do a very good job of that. So this is why this YU7 has taken a bit of time to come up the ramp curve since it was announced, 6 months ago. But so they're definitely ones to keep an eye on. But the Model Y is a great car. The key for Tesla in China to just separate from all this is going to be autonomy. And they have to get this over the goal line and moving, because Xiaomi does not have an answer to the capability of Tesla and FSD yet.
Yep, except that they're smart, like you said. They're very smart. They're copying Tesla. And because they're a software first company, they are the most credible challenger. So their version of FSD, their version of a Xiaomi Pilot, hyper autonomous driving, does not use LiDAR, and they did create the same kind of model that Tesla does with the neural vet, but they're behind. They're several years behind, but at least they know they know what's up, and they'll catch up.
Yeah, and there's going to be, like I said, I think it's naive to think that an American Tesla is just going to own, like, all the vehicle sales are going to be Tesla in China. No, it's a huge EV market. There's more than 51% of auto sales are pure EVs. And a lot of cars are going to be sold there. And Tesla's going to sell a lot of cars. Are they going to be number one market share in China? No. But they need to do a lot of volume, and they need to be a very important player in China. And Tesla needs to continue focus on global expansion. The world is very big. The global net EV penetration is still very low. So that's why you hear Tesla talking about opening these different delivery centers in different countries. That needs to continue. But the China market is going to be extremely competitive. Tesla's edge is going to be autonomy. They have to get that rolled out.
Okay, let's keep moving here. We got just a quick note on the Roadster. They've delayed the demo to now April 1st instead of, like he kept saying, it's going to be by the end of this year. And I think that probably gives them enough time to make sure the tech works. But then the production schedule is a year later. So this is a Halo product, not meant to be anything more than that. But yeah, he said it's going to be amazing. It's going to be flying and so forth. So we'll look forward to that. So I wanted to show this. Clifford is one of our friends. He's part of our Pacific Northwest group. We met him at the shareholder meeting, and then he was driving home from the shareholder meeting, and this happened last night. FSD saved his life. He's going through New Mexico. He's on his way home from the Tesla shareholder meeting. This was a potential head-on collision going at 75 miles per hour with oncoming traffic, but FSD averted it. Now, he apparently had, and this part I don't get, I guess there was an accident. Like, I guess it hit his broken mirror, busted window, and a bit of a shaken mind. That part, it doesn't appear so easily seen here, but here we go. He's driving home. It's late night at dark. Just typical highway situation. You've got your lane, and okay, there's a cars coming, but there's a guy on your lane, and then this car, the FSD, swerved out of the way. He said it was 75 miles per hour. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's clear the other car was trying to pass somebody and couldn't overtake them in time. And a couple of key callouts there. So one, FSD obviously tries to move center mass of the vehicle out of the way. So yeah, a mirror, whatever, that's fine. What FSD does, and I experienced this myself. I posted this I had a situation about a month ago where on the highway, an accident occurred to my left, and the cars spun out in front of me, and my Cybertruck stopped like a ballerina on their toes, and no contact. Everything was avoided. I've experienced this real time. This was this could have been far worse. There was nowhere for his Cybertruck to go because of the guardrail. But what FSD did is it understood where that guardrail was. It understood where the oncoming vehicle was. It understood what would be worse than, what were the better of two situations, and it moved it over. Here's the key thing. At highway speeds, 70, 80, 90 miles an hour, when people are trying to avoid an accident, they tend to almost always overcorrect when they steer. And that makes things worse. That's when you have the rollovers. That's when you have people driving off the road and so forth. What does FSD do? FSD is not emotional. The control system in your car is not emotional. It moved the car over enough as it needed to do, enough so to avoid the serious accident, but not overcorrect. So not only did it resolve the primary issue and risk, but it resolved the secondary issue, which is overcorrecting at high speeds. So, I don't know what people, these things unfortunately don't get the kind of visibility that they need, but what's your life worth? This is $99 a month. What's your life or your family's life worth? So very thankful this turned out the way it did, and thankful, Cliff was on FSD.
And you were on FSD just a month ago. We showed that, your own personal experience, and you had people in your car as well. So this is the data that Tesla shared. This is the second time I'm showing it. I shared it with a video with Larry, but I thought it's important. Tesla basically said that they've already saved 35,000 fatalities, 2 million less injuries. This is data. This is data that's now being shared with regulators, and this is why you can hear Elon saying, it's hard for regulation to slow him down as far as he's concerned. Let's hope that that's the case. Tesla is looking for a vehicle operator test driver in Japan. We know that they were testing FSD. They shared it with journalists last month or two, but now they're actually hiring for positions there. It may be that FSD is coming there. I thought it was important that Elon did confirm, or he was very confident that China was going to approve the full version of FSD. They already approved the partial version, but the full version sometime in this quarter. And then he said he's asking for everybody to, if you live in Europe, there's a petition that you can sign. He wants everybody to kind of promote and kind of, advocate for that so that the regulations will improve. Okay, this was fun. This guy said he actually used a robo-taxi to pick up these cinders from Home Depot. And then Tesla Robotaxi replied, going, excellent use of free will. Do whatever you want to do with me. Cybertruck then said, hey, he could have bought more cinder blocks if y'all would let me participate in Robotaxi. So imagine if Cybertruck could be used for that. So I don't know. This is just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hearing Cybertruck on 1415 is driving really well. I know there's a 1416 that's being worked on for the non-Cybertruck vehicles. Get rid of some of these, smoothing out, issues. So, I mean, they're on their way. I mean, this jump to 14 has been unbelievable. But I will tell you this, if you're a hardware 3 owner and you have the latest 12.6, I mean, I've used it as a loaner multiple times. It's unbelievable. It's still it's just unbelievable, amazing technology. I don't know how you, again, I've considered other vehicles just to have and try another vehicle, but I can't bring myself to making the purchase because it doesn't have FSD.
I got new information to share on this. Cyber Mike, you of course know him. We hung out with him at the shareholder meeting. He met with Ashok Goswami. I don't know how I missed Lars and Ashok and Franz. They were just outside where we were. I was close to them. He talked to him, and Ashok told him. He said, "Don't worry, we will take care of the Tesla owners who have hardware 3." And he said that these cars can be used for robotaxi.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah.
I think, the biggest confirmation, right?
Yeah, engineers love that kind of challenge because they're clearly first off, hardware 3 is a very capable computer. There's limitations they have to work through, and their path to solving all the test cases and getting the stability is on the hardware 4 computer. Got it. But engineers love this challenge of, okay, I have this, I don't have as much to work with here. I don't have as much high bandwidth memory. How do I figure it out? They love it. They love the challenge. There's so many hardware 3 vehicles out there. So I'm looking forward to them, driving a major breakthrough.
I trust Mike too. I trust what he shared with me about that. But that means, if that's true, again, hopefully it is, that it's not like you don't need to have a hardware swap, and instead they'll just do a software update. But it's not just this. Oh, you can. Hopefully, it means that you can still sleep in the car, and hopefully, it means that you can actually use it for robotaxi. But that's why I think that was, if that's true, I hope it is. Whoa. Okay. Lots of great info. Thank you for your information on the Cybercab production. That is probably the most important thing, factories. The show we're going to do tomorrow, it's about Optimus production, and there's actually a brand new facility, big giant facility being built now in Giga, Texas. I'm going to get you to explain all of that because, again, a lot of new information on production. Everything's starting. Everything's being built. Everything's happening. Thank you so much, Jeff. Check him out on his X account at the Jeff Lutz. Subscribe to him there. He always shares information ahead of time there. Thank you so much, Jeff. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.